Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me and sharing some very difficult parts of your life. It's very brave of you, and I am very confident that with the treatment plan that you and I created together, that we can help reduce and maybe even alleviate some of the pain and suffering that you have experienced um, very recently from your OCD. And so I'd like to take this time right now to outline and go over the treatment plan that we created to make sure that you and I are both on the same page. And if you have any questions or comments, you have an opportunity to do so either during this time or after. So feel free to ask or make any comments that you need to make. So the first part of our treatment plan that we discussed was creating better awareness, better insight into your OCD behavior, especially the ritualistic behaviors. So one of the ways we're going to do that is use a banned book, and it's similar to a journal where we keep track of when you engage in the ritualistic behaviors, and we'll have you write down when you give in, keep track of when you don't give in, and on top of that, what are some of the anxiety that you are experiencing on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being no anxiety at all, and 10 being, oh my goodness, this is a lot of anxiety, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And what that does is that allows us to specifically target those behaviors in the later stages of the treatment. And that kind of segues me to the next part of your treatment, and that is the exposures. The exposures are very target specific. So one of your ritualistic behaviors is with the cup and tapping it on your teeth a certain amount of times to make sure that everything is okay. And so we're going to create a hierarchy of exposures. And a hierarchy simply means that we want to know what exposure causes you the most anxiety, and which exposure to ritualistic type of behavior is not so anxiety inducing. The purpose is that we don't want to overwhelm you with treatment. We don't want to expose you to behaviors that cause you so much anxiety that you just want to drop out of treatment altogether. That's not the goal here. The goal is to help get you better. So we want to go in between from the really difficult and challenging exposures, which we'll eventually get to the low ones, which are beneficial, but we're not going to get that much bang for a buck. So we want to go right in between. That's the proximal zone that we want to be in. And the way we do that is by listing out a bunch of different types of scenarios, and we'll have you put down a scale rating of your anxiety from 0 to 10. And based on those ratings, we'll put those low, middle, and high. And we're going to stick with the middle ones because that's where we don't want you to be overwhelmed, but yet you're having progress moving forward and lowering the anxieties. And once we have that collection of in the middle type of exposures, we'll have you sit down. So the cup one being an example, if it's in the middle zone for anxiety provoking type of scenario for you, then we'll have you sit with that cup and maybe even have you drink from that cup. We'll ask you what your anxiety is at the beginning, and then we'll have you sit with it over a specific period of time. And and we're going to have you keep track of the anxiety intermittently, and you'll notice that your anxiety is going to drop down as you get used to it. More specific term is how you habituate to it. And we're going to keep working through those until those middle ones are in the low provoking or non-provoking anxiety exposures for you. And so we'll work all the way through those plans until we can extinguish those OCD type of behaviors. So this is just a general overview of the treatment plan that you and I worked on together. And so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. And just thank you so much for taking the time and working with me. And I believe that together we can certainly help you get to your treatment goals. Thank you again.